Taproots, the roots develop from the branches which grow downward and penetrate into the soil and thereby giving mechanical support. 3/4 of the plants that we come across on this planet Earth are angiosperms. What is buoyancy? Property of aquatic plants to float on the surface of the water is called as buoyancy. Hello everyone, welcome back to session 2 of this very interesting chapter called Morphology of Flowering Plants. As I keep on telling, biology is one such subject which is very interesting. What did we learn in the last session? We learned about what do you mean by morphology? Morphology of flowering plants means what? Study of the external features of the flowering plants, namely the angiosperms. As I said, the flowering plants or angiosperm plant consists of the root system and the shoot system, and root system is the part which grows below the soil, which is positively geotrophic and negatively phototrophic. And we also studied about the functions of the root. As you know, the very important functions of root system is first is what? Anchorage, fixation to the soil, firmly to the soil, and then absorption of water and dissolved mineral solutes. So other than those functions, normal original functions, if at all it gets itself modified, and such type of root system is called modified root system, right? Hope you remember we studied about the 4 types of root system, that is the taproot system, the fibrous root system, the adventitious root system, and the modifications of root system. In today's session, we are going to study about the modifications of root. Here you can see the beautiful picture of a banyan tree. What do you see? You can see the roots being grown from the branches. What do you call it? I hope you will remember in my last class, we discussed about 3 very important types of root system. One is called the taproot system. Second one is called the fibrous root system, and the third one is called adventitious root system. Adventitious root system. Hope you remember, taproot system develops from the radicle of a seed. Radicle of a seed. Fibrous root system develops from the base of the stem. Develops from the base of the stem, and adventitious roots neither develop from the radicle nor from the base of the stem. If at all they develop from any other part of a plant body, such roots are called as what? Adventitious root. You can take the classical example of the banyan roots. Here you can see the roots growing from the branches. Why do they give? This is mainly for what? To give mechanical support. To give mechanical support. The tree itself is very huge tree and it needs mechanical support. Who provides the mechanical support? You can see the vertical roots growing from the branches and they reach the soil and they act as what? Like pillars. So they are also called as what? Prop roots. Pillar roots or prop roots, which I am going to discuss in the coming slide. So adventitious roots are the roots which develop neither from the radicle nor from the base of the stem. Such roots are called as adventitious roots. Other than, as I said, what is the normal function of a root? First is to fixation to the soil, firmly to the soil, so that it anchors firmly to the soil so that it can overcome all the climatic conditions. There is a strong wind, heavy rainfall, but nothing will happen to the plant, to the tree. Why? It is because of the roots. So they anchor firmly to the soil and gives mechanical support. And what is the second very important function? It absorbs the dissolved mineral solids and conducts it to the other parts of the, it conducts it to the aerial parts of the plant body. And next, you can see the roots profusely branched, and those roots are going to absorb the water and the dissolved mineral solids. So other than the usual functions, if at all a root gets itself modified, why does it get modified? It gets modified to perform some special functions. What will be the special functions? Like providing support, mechanical support, or storage of food and for respiration. For example, like pneumatophores. So I repeat, what do you mean by modification? Modification is slight change from the original appearance. Slight change from the original appearance. Slight change from the original appearance is called modification. Why does it undergoes modification? To perform special functions. To perform special functions. So what are those special functions? As I said, in some plants, roots modified to perform functions other than the absorption and conduction of water minerals. They are modified for what? For support, storage of food and respiration. Right? So what is modification? Modification is slight change from the original appearance. Why do they get modified? To perform some special functions. What are the special functions? To give mechanical support, storage of food, or also to carry on the process of respiration. Now let us study some examples. Roots are modified for storage food. I think all of us are familiar with carrot. Carrot is what? It is a root modified for food storage. Why do we eat carrot? It is full of nutrient, right? Turnip, then you might have come across the advantageous roots that are modified, that is sweet potato, gets swollen to store food. So taproot system, you can take an example of carrot. Taproot system modified for what? For storage of food. You can take the example of carrot. Then advantageous roots, that is about the sweet potato. I think all of us are familiar with all these examples in our everyday life. Then roots modified for mechanical support, you can take the prop roots of banyan tree. This is called the prop roots of banyan tree. These are also called as what? Pillar roots. Why they are called as pillar? What is the function of a pillar? I think all of us know a house is built with the help of a pillar. 4 pillars. 4 pillars are very, very important. They give mechanical support to the whole house. So the whole weight of the house rests on those pillars. So they act as what? Supporting structures. So in a similar way, banyan tree, the roots are modified. What are they? They are advantageous roots. Why do you call them as advantageous roots? Neither they develop from the radicle of a seed nor from the base of the stem. They develop from the other than the radicle and the root, a base of the stem, that is from the branches. See how they are acting as pillars, long, from upwards to, usually we come across the roots growing downwards. But here you can see the roots growing from upwards to downwards, acting as pillars, hence the name prop roots. Then stilt roots of maize and sugarcane, very, very important. You might have come across, in case of maize, you can see the roots growing like this. They act as what? They act as stilt roots. Stilt roots. Only to give what? Mechanical support. They act as stilt roots. So stilt roots of maize and sugarcane, roots coming out from the lower nodes of the stem. You can see that they come from the lower nodes of the stem. They develop from the lower nodes of the stem, hence they are called as the stilt roots. Hope you have understood. So what is modification of root? In some plants, roots get modified to perform some special functions other than their original function of what? Anchorage, fixation firmly to the soil, and conduction and absorption of dissolved minerals. So other than that, if at all they want to perform some special function, they themselves get modified to perform some special functions. What are the special functions? Support, storage of food and respiration. So roots are modified for food storage. You can take an example of carrot, turnip, and advantageous roots modified. It is also nothing but a root modified, but it is an advantageous roots, example sweet potato. Then roots modified for mechanical support. A beautiful picture you can see about the prop roots of the banyan tree. So the prop roots of banyan tree, stilt roots of maize and sugar cane and sugarcane. Roots coming out from the lower nodes of the stem. You might have come across plants growing in mangrove. Have you heard about mangrove plants? Plants growing in marshy areas. Marshy areas. So when the plants are growing in marshy areas, they don't get sufficient aeration, sufficient aeration, that is air for respiration. So in order to overcome that drawback, these mangrove plants like Avicennia rhizophora start producing roots like this. Usually we have come across roots growing underground, but in this case you can find that in pneumatophores the roots will grow above the soil and they have small pores. I'll show it to you all in the coming slide. So such roots are called as aerating roots. Such roots are called as aerating roots. So roots modify, as I said, roots get modified for what? To perform some special functions. What are the special functions? To give mechanical support, storage of food, and for respiration. Right. So for storage of food, we have come across carrot, turnip, adventitious roots modified like sweet potato, and the roots that are modified for mechanical support, that is the prop roots of the banyan tree, the stilt roots of maize and sugarcane, we have come across. So what are the roots that are modified for respiration? Namely the Avicennia and Rhizophora. As you know, as I said, the roots will start developing because the whole soil surface is marshy and it is devoid of oxygen. So in order to get oxygen, which is also a very important requirement for the plants for respiration, the roots will start growing above the soil and they have small pores which will absorb the atmospheric oxygen. Such roots are called as aerating roots, or they are also called as what? Pneumatophores. Then prop roots already I explained. Here also you can see the roots, how the roots have developed and they spread all over the soil surface and they give mechanical support. So in spite of heavy rainfall or a strong wind, the whole tree can bear its weight, and that is because of this prop roots which give mechanical support and they spread all over the soil surface. You can see in this beautiful picture how the roots have spread all over the soil surface giving mechanical support. Such roots are called as what? Already explained. Such roots are called as what? Prop roots or pillar roots. So the roots develop from the, I told you, as I explained that they are the adventitious roots. Why do you call them as advantageous? Why not the taproot or the fibrous root? Adventitious roots neither develop from the radicle of a seed nor from the base of the stem. If at all they develop from any other part of a plant body, may it be like the branches. So here you can see the prop roots developing from the branches. Hence they are called as what? Prop roots or pillar roots. They act as pillars giving mechanical support to the huge tree. Very big tree it is. Banyan tree. You take example of banyan tree. It is a very huge tree, right? So here the roots develop from the branches which grow downward and penetrate into the soil and thereby giving mechanical support. Example, banyan tree, that is Ficus bengalensis. Stilt roots, already I gave an example about the maize and the sugarcane. The roots arise from the basal nodes of the stem which grow downward and penetrate into the soil and provide mechanical support. You can take an example of sugarcane and maize. So roots modified for respiration are pneumatophores. Example, Rhizophora avicennia, which helps to get oxygen for respiration. Prop roots, the roots develop from the branches which grow downward and penetrate into the soil and thereby giving mechanical support. Example, banyan tree. Then the stilt roots, as I said, the roots will start developing from the nodes and internodes, forming a oblique, actually these are oblique roots. Here if this is the stem, from the they arise like this. They are called as what? Oblique roots, which give, they are also called as what? Stilt roots, which give mechanical support. So the roots arise from the basal nodes of the stem which grow downward and penetrate into the soil and provide mechanical support. We can give an example of pandanus, sugarcane, maize, etc. Moving on to the climbing roots. All of you might have come across a very common plant, that is the betel leaf, and even the pepper plant. Have you all observed the roots of these plants? Hope if you are not observed, you can observe it in this beautiful picture. Here you can see the betel leaf plant. You know, the betel leaf has lot of economic importance as it is used for pan, right? So, and it has lot of digestive capacity. So many people, like after their food, will have this betel leaf, right? It is having more economical value. Pan is a very famous thing that is made out of this betel leaf, right? And hope you have observed this plant. It will start developing hook-like roots. Hook-like root. If you have carefully observed this betel leaf, then you will definitely will observe that you can see here the roots will develop hook-like structures here like this, and that they will take the support of the other things and they start climbing. Why do they develop such climbing roots? Develop climbing roots because they have weak stem. They have weak stem. They cannot stand on their own. Weak stem and cannot stand on their own. Cannot stand on their own. So when they don't have a support, what do? They take the support of the other plants. And why do they climb? Because they need sunlight for what? For photosynthesis. They require sunlight, which is a very, very important raw material for photosynthesis. Just because they cannot get sunlight, do you think they just keep, they remain downwards? No, they try to climb, take the support of some other plant, and they start climbing to get sufficient sunlight for photosynthesis. Such roots which develop, the climbing roots, which take the support of the other plants and climb and reach higher part, and that is mainly, and they are called as what? Climbing roots. So in weak stemmed plants, roots arise from the nodes which twine around the supporter, thus helping. They twine around the, twining means what? See, here you can see how they have taken the support. Like this, they take the support and they climb, right? I think you might have come across people growing more of betel plants. So in that case, they take the support of the other trees and they start climbing. So what are climbing roots? In weak stemmed plants, roots arise from the nodes which twine around the supporter, thus help in climbing. Classical example you can take pepper, betel, and even money plant. Here you can see the beautiful money plant. Even this money plant also, this is a very common plant which we grow at home. It's an ornamental plant. Just because it is called money plant, it does not bear money. It is just an ornamental plant, showy plant, right? And which is kept for showy purpose. So even that is a classical example for what? For climbing roots. So very common things which we come across in our daily life, but you might not have observed all these things. See how beautifully the plants have come out with their own strategies and design. See how, because they have a weak stem, they take the support of the other plant with the help of the hook-like roots, so that they can cling to the host body or the supporter and then climb. So all these are certain strategies which the plants come out to carry on their daily function. That is the beauty of plants. Moving on to the roots modified for vital functions. You might have come across epiphytic roots. A classical example is Vanda. Is a epiphytic root. What do you mean by epiphytic root? You might have come across, it takes the support of some other plant like this. These are called as epiphytic roots. What do you mean by epiphytic roots? They are the adventitious roots found in, usually you can come across in orchids. See the beautiful picture of orchids. How beautifully they are colored, right? That is the beauty of flowers. As I said, 3/4 of the plants that we come across on this planet Earth are angiosperms. In that, angiosperms are what? Flowering plants. The beauty that lies in these flowering plants is really immense, and I think we enjoy this beauty of this nature because of this beautiful flowers. And orchids, all of us know it is an ornamental flower which is used for decoration, for showy purpose, for keeping in a flower vase, etc. Right? So this, see, you can find the epiphytic root. These are the adventitious roots found in orchids that grow as epiphytes on the branches of other plants. They are not going to harm the other plant. They just take the support. They are not like Cuscuta, parasitic plant. What is that parasitic plant? I am going to explain in the coming slide. It will not only take the support of the other plant, it will start sucking the nutrients from the host plant. So thereby, what is it? It is damaging the host plant. But this epiphytic roots just take the support of the other plants because they have a weak stem and they are not going to harm the other plant. So what are epiphytic roots? These are the adventitious. Why they are called adventitious roots? Neither they develop from the radicle nor from the base of the stem. So they develop from the branches and of the other. These epiphytes develop special kind, and they have a special kind of tissue. So these epiphytic roots have a special kind of tissue called velamen. What is this velamen? This velamen tissue absorbs, because this is just floating in the air. It is not able to absorb water from the soil. Then how is it able to get water? So it is having a special tissue called velamen, which is going to absorb the atmospheric moisture. Atmospheric moisture. Thereby, see how it gets its water content. See, this is such a beauty of these plants, children. So these epiphytic roots take the support of other plants, and they have a special tissue called velamen tissue, and this velamen tissue has the capacity to absorb the atmospheric moisture, and that is how it is able to satisfy its need for water. So such is the beauty of this. So even these have got themselves modified. So for what? For vital functions. For what? For taking support. So that is about the epiphytic roots. Moving on to the parasitic roots are also called as haustoria. As I said, sometimes, even the roots get modified as what? Parasitic roots. And the parasitic roots are also called as what? Haustoria. And a classical example you can take is Cuscuta. Cuscuta is here you can see, Cuscuta is a parasitic root. What is this Cuscuta doing? It is not only taking the support, it will start absorbing the nutrients of the host plant. The support which the plant has taken, it will start absorbing the nutrients from that particular plant. So what are these parasitic roots or haustoria? These roots are found in non-green parasitic plants. And they develop roots which penetrate into the host tissue and enter into its conducting tissue and absorb nutrients from them. Hence these roots are called as what? Haustoria. So when they are not able to synthesize their own food, what will they do? They take the support of the other plants. They not only take the support, they will start absorbing all the nutrients from that particular host plant where they have taken the support. By what? By penetrating into the host tissue and enter into its conducting tissue and absorb nutrients from them. Such roots are called as what? Haustoria. Or they are also commonly called as what? Parasitic roots. Parasitic roots. Here you can see they take not only the support, they will start absorbing the food from the other plants. Next, photosynthetic or assimilatory roots. These are the adventitious roots, become green and carry on photosynthesis. So here some roots, usually the roots are brownish in color, they are devoid of chlorophyll, but sometimes the adventitious roots become green and have chlorophyll to carry on what? Photosynthesis. For example, you can take the example of Ctenophora. For parasitic root, you can take the example of Cuscuta. So such roots which are modified to carry on photosynthesis are called as assimilatory roots. So what are assimilatory roots? Assimilatory roots are those roots or photosynthetic roots which get themselves modified into green structures. Particularly the adventitious roots become green in color to carry on the process of photosynthesis, and such roots are called as what? Assimilatory roots. And a classical example you can take is of ctenophore. All these are the examples for what? For modifications of root. So as I said, the roots, other than carrying on their usual functions of fixation, absorption and conduction, they also have special functions to perform. Thereby they get themselves modified, and they get modified for what? To give mechanical support to why do they get modified? Mechanical support, food storage, respiration. As I said, sometimes they also become what? Parasitic roots. Then they become assimilatory roots. Assimilatory roots. They get modified for performing. All these are what? These are not the usual functions. They are all what? Special functions. They are all called as what? Special functions. Moving across the leafy roots. Hope all of you might have come across the leaf buds. So these are the adventitious roots developed from the margin of the leaf. Hope you have come across this bryophyllum leaf. Here you can see. You can see the buds in the margin. And they develop roots like this. These are called as leafy roots. And these are the adventitious roots developed from the margin. You can see they are developing from the margin of the leaf, and that is, they are also acting as what? And these are called as leaf buds, which are also acting as vegetative structures. Vegetative structures which take part in vegetative reproduction. They take part in vegetative reproduction. The margin of the leaf will bear the leaf buds, and they also are what? They are adventitious. These are called as what? Adventitious roots. They are nothing but called adventitious roots, and they also act as what? Vegetative structures. So such roots are called as what? Leafy roots. Then you take the example of floating roots. These are all called as floating roots. You can see in aquatic plants. Aquatic plants like what? Like Pistia, Eichhornia. Then you can see one more called Jassia. All these are the examples. So they are floating roots. Here you can see the beautiful, this is offset. That is, this is an offset, and that is Eichhornia. Eichhornia is also called as what? Water hyacinth. It is also called as what? Water hyacinth. Such roots which are meant for floating in water. So in these plants, sponge-like floating roots containing what type of tissue? Aerenchyma tissue. Aerenchyma tissue has what? More of air, which will reduce the buoyancy, which will reduce the specific gravity of the plants and helps in a property called buoyancy. What is buoyancy? Buoyancy is property of aquatic plants to float on the surface of water. Surface of water. So it helps in what? Floating on the surface of the water. Such roots which help in floating on the surface of the water, they are called as floating roots. And what are they made up of? A special type of tissue called aerenchyma. Aerenchyma is also called as modified parenchyma tissue. It is a modified parenchyma tissue. It is a modified parenchyma tissue which helps in what? As I said, buoyancy. What is buoyancy? Property of aquatic plants to float on the surface of the water is called as buoyancy. That is about the floating roots. So what are leafy roots? These are the adventitious roots developed from the margin of the plant. Example, bryophyllum. And what are floating roots? In this plant, sponge-like floating tissue. Why it becomes sponge? Because it is having a very special tissue called parenchyma. What is this parenchyma tissue? It is a modified parenchyma tissue. Why it is called modified parenchyma tissue? Parenchyma tissue's original function is what? Food storage. Other than food storage, if at all it gets modified, it is called as modified parenchyma tissue. And why parenchyma? The very word itself will tell you. It is a tissue which is filled with air, which is going to reduce the specific gravity of plants and helps the plants to float on the surface of the water, leading to a property called buoyancy. Buoyancy is what? Property of aquatic plants to float on the surface of water. So, arising at the nodes which help in floating. Example, Gessia, offset, that is Eichhornia. All these are the examples. Moving across, the pneumatophores or breathing roots. Already I explained about the breathing roots are they. So here you can see even the stilt roots like this, pandanus. Here you can see the stilt roots. You can see the roots obliquely grown here. Oblique roots. These are also called as what? Stilt roots. In what? Pandanus. Also you come across in sugar cane. Can also come across in maize. They develop from what? Nodes. Here you can see the node. This is called as node. They develop from the nodes. Then what are pneumatophores or breathing roots? Already explained, right? So here you can see the roots growing above the soil. You can see the roots. And this is usually in mangrove vegetation. This you can see in mangrove plants. Plants growing in what? Marshy areas. Right. So here, what are pneumatophores or breathing roots? They are found in the mangrove plants which grow in water lodged. Water lodged means completely the surface of the surface of the soil is covered with water, thereby depleting the soil from oxygen. And marshy regions where they do not get enough oxygen for aeration. So when they are not getting sufficient oxygen for aeration, so what do they come out with the alternate means? They start producing roots like this. And the roots usually grow below the soil, but in aerating roots, the roots will grow above the soil, as I showed you hence in these plants, the secondary roots become ageotrophic. What do you mean by ageotrophic? Usually, roots are geotrophic. That is, they have more affinity towards soil. Affinity towards soil. What do you mean by ageotrophic? That is, not having affinity towards soil. So instead of roots growing down like this, here you can see the roots growing above like this. So this is positively geotrophic. This is negatively geotrophic. So they become age and develop above the level of water are called pneumatophores, which have numerous pores. And what is it? They have numerous pores like this. Hence the name they are called as what? Aerating roots. What do these roots do? They absorb moisture. They absorb oxygen from the atmosphere. They absorb more oxygen from the atmosphere. So the small pores that are found on the aerating roots are mainly responsible for absorbing the oxygen from the atmosphere. And the numerous pores they are also called as lenticels, which will help in exchange of gases. A classical example you can give is Avicennia and Rhizophora. Here you can see. So these are the roots. See, usually we come across, but see here, you can see the roots growing above the soil and they have small pores here. Can you see? Pores. And these are called as what? Aerating pores. And these pores help in what? Absorbing the oxygen from the atmosphere. So hence such roots are called as pneumatophores. And example you can take is Rhizophora or Avicennia. See here you can see from the soil they start developing like this. Usually the roots are below the soil like this. But here you can see the roots grow above the soil. Here you can see how beautifully, this is a marshy vegetation, marshy area, marshy plants where they don't get sufficient oxygen. Why don't they get sufficient oxygen? The whole surface of the soil is covered by water. So completely it is blocked with water and there is no sufficient space for aeration. So what do? They make an alternate means where they start producing the aerating roots like this, growing above the soil, having numerous pores called lenticels or pores, which will help in exchanging the gases from the atmospheric oxygen, thereby helping what? Respiration. Such respiratory roots are called as what? Pneumatophores. This is a very common example, which is common question which is asked in examination. What are pneumatophores or what are aerating roots? What is a classical example for pneumatophores? So what are pneumatophores? They are nothing but called respiratory roots. Modified for what? For respiration. Modified for aeration. Modified for aeration or for, it is called, or for respiration. Such roots are called as respiratory roots. Respiratory roots are also called as what? Pneumatophores. They are also called as pneumatophores. Hope you have understood all the concepts what I have explained in today's session, that was about the modifications of root. So other than the usual function, see how beautifully the plants have come up with their strategies. So as I said, the whole of the flowering plant is divided into, half of the plant is divided into root system, which is below the soil, and half of the plant is divided into shoot system, which is above the soil. So the root system, as I said, is very much involved in fixation firmly to the soil and for conduction, for absorption of dissolved mineral solutes. Then in the next coming session I'll start with the shoot system. But as I said, other than these usual functions, if at all they want to get themselves modified to perform some special functions, then they get modified for what? For giving mechanical support, for food storage, for respiration, and even you have come across in the climbing. Such is the beauty of these flowering plants. So hope you have understood all the concepts what I have explained in today's session. I'll be back in the coming session with some more concepts of this very interesting chapter called Morphology of Flowering Plants. Till then, goodbye and thank you.